It's not just the answers, not just the quotes. It's life in the margins. It's time for CluffsNotes.
Visual journeys.
So here was another interesting outcome that came from that committee work. Now, you know those videos where someone restores something or they build something and it's the whole process is like sped up over time? I mean, I love those, especially like the ones where they're cleaning like a filthy carpet, like with a pressure washer. Well, a while back, I got curious about my own sketching process. I would take multiple pictures of some of my sketches over time, and I was just trying to capture like that progression from the pencil version all the way to that finished piece. And then I even blended some of those into videos just so I could see the changes. I love being able to see the impact of those artistic choices I was making, because changes, they weren't just in my memory anymore, they were visible. So when I started working in this first committee, I realized that I could document this progression of my learning by taking pictures of my sketching over time. Use those sketches more than just drawings. For me, they could actually be data for the other committees to use in their process. It could show how my mind was processing in real time. So again, my meta brain, the nerdy part, was just love this idea of, I'll use the swirl to learn about the swirl. So I would move through each committee at one at a time. I define, clarify, analyze, simplify the concepts as I'm sketching it. I pull in past conversations, artifacts. I shared the pictures and notes from other committees. And over time, as expected, things started to take shape. The language, it got clearer. Connections became more obvious. My mental images, they started becoming more defined, both in my head and literally on paper. And it was nothing perfect, nothing dramatic, but it was enough. It was enough for me to start recognizing that this is what's going on in my thinking. And eventually something else settled in, this sense of, this is how I approach reflection and why it seems to help me. And the best part, it wasn't simply theory. It was actually happening in practice. So when the work of the 5 committees just felt complete enough, I returned back to my sense-making studio, that leadership team. That's where I designed reflection prompts for the committees. Just pull everything back together and be able to look across it all. And what came out of that did not disappoint. I loved it. I started to see patterns in language, in the structures, in the way things were connecting. I saw things like, my thinking isn't linear. It's this reflective cycle. Signal and coherence aren't really stages. They're more like entry and exit points. Externalization, patterns, and distillation, they are levers inside the swirl. And coherence, it's not about having the answer. It's about having enough stability to move forward. I was finally finding the words for these things that were happening in my head. And once I had that language, I started to be able to ask better questions of my own thinking. I do it all the time now. Where am I externalizing? What patterns am I noticing? What am I actually distilling? And I love that I wasn't only reflecting, I was studying my reflection.
Research.
All right, so that's when another weird idea hit me. Remember, name it, claim it, aim it. If I could name it, if I could see it, maybe I could study it. A type of research. In education, when we're trying to support students who are struggling, we didn't just simply guess. We tried to collect data. We used protocols to observe, gather this data, and then use that to make better decisions. So I started wondering, could I do something like that on myself? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, yes, not only could I do it, but it makes sense. I could collect field data about my own thinking. So with distributed cognition and my access to numerous past and future reflective threads, I could do some pretty deep reflective field research. Nothing formal, but it's real. I just simply needed a way to capture it, a protocol, something I could use across all those conversations, old and new, to just collect consistent data, to go in and say, run this protocol. And then when I had enough of those gathered, I could use AI to help me look through those for patterns and find things perhaps I don't see on my own. I could run a pretty cool experiment and dig even deeper into myself and my thinking. And that's exactly what I did. Another reel for the shelf.